So green has gone Main Street, it hasn't gone down Main Street. Now why has green gone Main Street? I would argue 3 reasons: 9/11, Katrina, and the internet. Let me go through all 3. 9/11 taught us that we're in a war. We're in a war on terrorism with people who are funded, fueled, and energized by our energy purchases. We are in the first war in American history, maybe in modern history, where we are funding both sides of the war. We fund the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps with our tax dollars. We fund Al-Qaeda, Islamic Jihad, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the whole transformation of the Muslim world to the Wahhabite idea through our energy purchases. We're funding both sides of the war. How stupid is that? Okay. And I think since 9/11, people have understood that. But I would like to add a gloss. And again, why is green the solution here? And green is the solution because of what I like to call the first law of petropolitics. This is an idea I wrote about last year in Foreign Policy magazine. Now, the best way I can explain the first law of petropolitics, if I didn't have a screen here, but I should have, is what I did was I charted the price of oil, average price, from 1979 to 2005. Now, if you chart the average global price of oil from 1979 to 2005, what does your graph look like? It looks like a big V, okay? 1979, round numbers, oil was $70 a barrel. 1991 to 95, oil gets down to about $10 a barrel. Yes, with all due respect to Ronald Reagan, it was $10 a barrel oil that brought down the Soviet Union. People forget oil cratered when the Soviet Union cratered. And then oil goes back up 2005 to $70 a barrel. So that graph looks like this. Then what I did is I went to the Freedom House Freedom Index. Yeah, Freedom House, they actually index freedom in countries. Free and fair elections, newspapers, NGOs, political participation. And I overlaid the Freedom House Freedom Index on the oil price graph for 4 countries: Iran, Nigeria, Russia, and Venezuela. What does that look like? Well, the Freedom Index for these petrol states highly dependent on oil for their GDP, looks like this. Oh, well, that's interesting. See, the price of oil looks like that, and the Freedom Index looks like that. What does that tell you? It tells you that the price of oil and the pace of freedom operate in an inverse correlation. As the price of oil went down from 1979, the pace of freedom went up in these countries. And as the price of oil went up, the pace of freedom went down. Now, of course, you know this anecdotally. When oil was $30 a barrel, President Bush looked into Vladimir Putin's soul and saw a good man down there. You look into Putin's soul at $70, you'll see Gazprom, Lukos, Izvestia, Pravda, every institution and newspaper he has swallowed with $70 a barrel oil. When oil was $30 a barrel, Iran elected Khatami as president, who called for a dialogue of civilizations. When oil was $70 a barrel, they elected Ahmadinejad, who said Israel should be wiped off the map and the Holocaust was a myth. One thing I can promise you folks, at $20 a barrel, the Holocaust will not be a myth. That's nonsense you can only afford at $70 a barrel, okay? Which was the first Arab Gulf country to discover oil? Bahrain, tiny island state off the east coast of Saudi Arabia. Which was the first Arab Gulf country to run out of oil? Bahrain. Which was the first Arab Gulf country to hold a free and fair election where women could run and vote? Bahrain. Which was the first Arab Gulf country to sign a free trade agreement with the United States? Bahrain. Which was the first Arab Gulf country to hire McKinsey to come in and revamp their labor laws because their people were going to have to work? Say it with me now. Bahrain, okay? Oh, that's not an accident. That's the price of oil and the pace of freedom operating in an inverse correlation. You want to know what plan B is for Iraq? Bring down the price of oil. The motto of our revolution was no taxation without representation. The motto of the petrolist dictator is no representation without taxation. Hey, pal, if I don't have to tax you, I don't have to represent you.